In the mid-1960s, scooter ownership was rapidly growing in popularity across Europe due to the relatively low cost when compared to buying and running a car. This was especially the case with young people in Britain, where, fueled by a newfound independence thanks to music, fashion, and the occasional bashing in of a Triumph rider's cranium, mod culture was taking the country's youth by storm. Despite a number of companies across Europe turning their hand to designing and manufacturing these noisy little two-wheelers, the two that anybody ever really wanted was one of Piaggio's Vespas or Innocenti's Lambrettas. However, whilst Vespas and Lambrettas were making waves in the street, it wouldn't be long before one company took one look at the Lambretta and decided to really start making waves. In 1965, British-based scooter importers Lambretta Concessionaires decided to take one of their imported models, a 1964 Lambretta J125, and make it into the world's first amphibious Lambretta. So, just to clarify here, do you remember that episode of Top Gear where they go to Vietnam? Do you remember how Jeremy makes a Vespa scooter into a Mississippi paddle steamer? That's basically what we're doing here. The brainchild/fever dream of Philip Keeler and engineered by Rex White, the Amphiscooter was the merging of the J125 with hinged fiberglass floats mounted on either side of the scooter, allowing them to be stowed vertically for road travel or fixed horizontally for water travel. The rear wheel of the scooter was slightly modified in order to have a paddle attached to it for propulsion, with steering coming from two small rudders attached to either side of the front wheel. Short of being ideal commuter transport for marine biologists, it seems that there was serious doubt surrounding the vessel's ability to, well, float. In order to sink these doubts, secret sea trials were conducted in the early hours at Portsmouth by Concessionaires employee turned scooter captain Douglas Bedford, who supposedly dressed as a sailor for the occasion. Now, with Portsmouth being a major port for the British Royal Navy, it's very possible that a sleepy admiral may have mistaken the Amphiscooter for some sort of prototype landing craft. After these sea trials, it was scooted off to the glamorous 1965 Brighton Motorcycle and Cycle Show, where it ended up catching the eye of a number of media outlets. It was following this media attention that the scooter was notably filmed sailing down the River Thames in an attempt to show its sea legs. Here, it was captained by Speedway of Acton's owner Jack Hornsby, with daughter Stella in tow, and despite a rather dubious launch that would make even Uncle Albert nervous, the Amphiscooter showed no signs of heading to the depths. Following its Thames outing, the Amphiscooter was taken to the lake at Mallory Park Racetrack in Leicestershire for another public demonstration. However, this was to be its final voyage, as not long into the trip, the captain noticed the water level slowly beginning to rise as the bottom of the Amphiscooter started to dip below the surface, before eventually sinking to the bottom of the lake. Sadly, no footage exists of the member of the Carnabetian army having to abandon the sinking vessel, and even sadder is the fact that the scooter supposedly still remains at the site of its watery grave to this very day. No further prototypes were made by Lambretta Concessionaires, with it being questioned if they ever really intended to put the design into production, or if it was simply a marketing ploy. It's also easy to wonder if Philip Keeler was inspired by the likes of the Amphi car, a Triumph Herald-powered amphibious car from West Germany, of which nearly 4,000 were sold. The Amphi car was launched in 1961, and went on sale in Britain in 1964, the year before the Amphiscooter was debuted at Brighton, and so it's easy to see Keeler being inspired by the Kraut's new floater. In 2008, during Top Gear's Vietnam special, Jeremy Clarkson would take his 1967 Vespa and turn it into a paddle steamer in the climax of the show, in a sort of weird, possible tribute to the original. In 2015, a replica of the original Amphiscooter, 52 DOY, was made in celebration of its 50th anniversary by Constantino Frontellini in Italy, costing over $20,000 and taking over 700 hours to make. The scooter was then later sold at an auction for an undisclosed amount. And with that, like a passing ship in the night, the future of the Amphiscooter sailed slowly out of view. You know, all this talk of a floating scooter is really giving me an idea for a floating Willem Forganetti. I mean, think about it, it's like the perfect mix of the Amphiscooter and the Amphi car. Just don't leave yet, I think we're really onto a winner here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Amphiscooter, and make sure to let me know what are your opinions on it.